The next player on our legends list had a unique career spanning continents. From La Boca to the Manchester Derby and World Cups, Carlos Tevez burst onto the scene in Buenos Aires before causing a storm in the Premier League and forming part of one or two of modern football's most controversial transfers.
Carlos Tevez puts Manchester City ahead.
Carlos Tevez, brilliant!
Carlos Tevez is one of just 13 players to win the historic double of the Champions League and the Copa Libertadores. But did you know that he also lost 2 finals in each of these tournaments? He could have had a hat-trick of medals from both. However, despite great success, he had to settle for silver with Boca in both 2004 and 2018, either side of a stint in Europe, where he was a 2009 and 2005 Champions League runner-up. Lionel Messi and Angel Di Maria are the only 2 Argentines that boast more titles than Carlos Tevez, who recently turned his hand to management with the legendary Buenos Aires club Independiente, who funnily enough are also nicknamed the Red Devils. The forward was a true pain in the backside for defenders. He had incredible skill but also dogged determination off the ball. He played in 2 World Cups and 4 Copa America Championships, and it can be easily forgotten that Tevez also won trophies in China, Brazil and Italy, though he is more associated with Boca and the Manchester sides. Tevez was regularly voted club or even league player of the season wherever he went, and picked up golden boots for fun. From West Ham to Juventus, this man won titles in 5 different countries, including those under the radar stints with Corinthians and Shanghai. Despite spending around 7 years in England, the 76-time Argentine international never got to grips with his new language. Now, that didn't stop him from performing on the pitch, so he got away with it. For most, such communication failure would be a big issue, but there is a class of player that are a level above, and Tevez was one of them. He communicated with his eyes and his feet. Had it not been for the fact he played in a generation with plenty of world-class strikers, he might have got even more recognition for his incredible talent and wonderful career. The Apache, as he was known, was born in Buenos Aires province, and as a child he was scalded by boiling hot water, giving him the famous scar so visible on his neck today. At the time, he was in intensive care for almost 2 months, but allegedly as a young player at Boca, Tevez turned down an offer to have cosmetic surgery done on his scars. It became his look in a way, and he wanted to keep it. Tevez would debut for the world-famous Boca Juniors in 2001 at the age of just 16. To break into the team at such an early age would be impressive anywhere, but the fact that he did so at one of South America's biggest clubs during one of their most successful eras in history shows just how gifted this teenager was. Tevez would become a regular and score a goal every 3 games whilst at La Bombonera. He won the Libertadores, of course, the league and an Intercontinental Cup before moving to Corinthians in Brazil in January 2005. The transfer was for $16 million plus add-ons, the biggest that had ever taken place in South America at the time. In the city of Sao Paulo, Carlos Tevez would have an almighty impact on the field once again. He led the line as Corinthians stormed to the Brazilian Serie A title. The Argentine captained the side and scored 38 goals in 58 for the club. The top European sides began to circle like vultures. Next up came a big move, but also the first of 2 very controversial transfers in Tevez's career. This was down to concerns over third-party ownership. Tevez and his Argentine compatriot Javier Mascherano made the move to West Ham, but the ownership rights of both Tevez and Mascherano seemed to be a mystery. It was later revealed that both were controlled by external entities, including sports investment group Media Sports Investment. On the pitch, things weren't going so well for West Ham after Tevez's arrival. One of the main talking points of Carlitos' first season in England was when he left the stadium early after being subbed off against Sheffield United. The Hammers dressing room decided that Tevez had to donate half a week's wages to charity and train in a Brazil jersey but Tevez refused to put on the shirt. In a mad turn of events, Carlos Tevez would score the only goal in a 1-0 win for West Ham at Old Trafford on the last day of the season to keep the London club in the Premier League. Of course, he would soon be playing for United instead, and we all know where he went after that, in controversial transfer number 2. That's right, after winning back-to-back Premier League titles with Man U, as well as a Champions League and Club World Cup, Tevez made the infamous move to Manchester City, the noisy neighbours. This of course came in an era of City's new ownership, heavy investment in their squad, and bold moves in the market such as this one were a normal thing. Not to mention that welcome to Manchester sign. City were cheeky enough to stick up in the city centre of Tevez in sky blue. For United, it was treason, but for City, it was delight. Carlos Tevez would form a fine partnership with his countryman Sergio Aguero and go on to win an FA Cup and Premier League title with City. The Apache had success wherever he went. That didn't change in Italy either. After his City spell, Tevez joined Juventus, where he won a cup and back-to-back league titles, whilst continuing his inspired individual form in front of goal. In 2017, he won a Chinese FA Cup with Shanghai, and then returned home to Argentina, where he would win another 7 titles with his beloved Boca Juniors as a veteran striker. This legendary 3-time South American Footballer of the Year touched gold on every step of his whirlwind journey in football. Unfortunately, at international level, he was a Copa America runner-up only, and on 3 occasions too. But that doesn't take away from the quality player that Carlos Tevez was. And nearly 300 career goals and plenty of titles later, Carlitos goes down in history as one of the most talented of his generation. Trophies in 5 countries, countless goals and moments of magic made him the icon that he is today. If you like this video, hit subscribe and join us in the next one.